Sir started as a photojournalist and you made a lot of documents. How was the experience this time?
Well, the stunt for photojournalists was only for a couple of months because I started traveling all over the country to understand our country. Because, from my milieu, of course, I knew middle class, upper middle class, uh, so-called educated class, but the rest of India I didn't know. So at a very young age, say from 19, 20, 21, I traveled all over the country. And while traveling, I did a lot of photographs and written about it, about a situation, about a culture, about a particular people and their art. So I think it's a very interesting journey where I could see the complex nature of our country, and it is not homogeneous at all. In a way, it is highly heterogeneous. There are so many people, yet the human relationship, human faculty are the same. So it was a long journey. And documentary, of course, I've been making documentary since the beginning, and fiction both. I don't separate my journey through documentary cinema or fiction films. In fiction, you find documentary elements. In documentary, you find fiction elements. So I think this division is not necessary. But people all over the world say that this is documentary, this is feature, this is newsreel, this is television serial. No, cinema is cinema. So for me, I never stopped making so-called, you say, documentary or non-fiction, because I love making non-fiction because that gives you a new idea. When you do research and cultivate a particular kind of people, their nature, their culture, you learn more. So that's why I traveled all over Central Asia and made a film. Discovery used to show them in the late 90s. It's a 5 hour long film. In that film also, Beyond the Himalayas, that film also you'll find a lot of fiction, because uh, it's also a very conflicting thing, fact and fiction. Which is fact, which is fiction? Because there are many imaginary lines. So, in my opinion, cinema, like many other arts, cinema is a combination of so many arts, so many art forms, so many expression. So, in my opinion, this fact and fiction and is also based on real, unreal, and surreal. For any art, these three elements are very important. When you tell a story, what kind of story? When you write a story, it's different than when you write something for cinema. Because while writing the story, uh, it's a different form altogether, where people who can read, but not who are literate, they read each and every paragraph and visualize in their own way. So it goes actually to your intellectual perception, then you visualize on a particular paragraph. Cinema is just the reverse. It's more close to music. It's a visual perception first, then later on you think uh, the nuances of a particular scene. Uh, take any Elipatium, Adu. Initially, you watch the film, you realize the visual. Later on, you try to understand why it's a rat trap for few characters and the family. What is the social backdrop? So you become intrigued. So cinema, of course, when we started making films, cinema was very noble to us. It's not easy. And you make a film, those were all celluloid days. It's not like today's technology that you just click and take a picture or video footage. No, not at all. It was a different time altogether. So I think that's very interesting. I've been making film for so many years, And whenever I felt that I should make a film, I get inspired, then I make films. Otherwise, I don't.